kids, it's the Mr. Flyer here. Hope you're well. Now, I've had the CRF250L for coming up on 2 years now, and overall, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the bike, but I think I've had sufficient time to kind of learn about the pros and cons of the machine. And if you're in the market for one of these things, you know, you watch the reviews and things, you only ever hear the good stuff, don't you? So this is my no holds barred top 5 things that I hate about the CRF250L. So stick around, stay tuned, and I'll tell you what they are. Okay, so number 5 on my list of the top 5 things I hate about the CRF250L is the absolutely fugly rear light. And in fact, the whole sort of bracketry at the back end is horrible. Now, one of the first modifications I made to the bike when I got it was to take the saw to the back end and make it kind of homemade version of a tail tidy, if you like, and that has made the back end look a bit neater, but the backlight itself is pretty horrible. I mean, it's functional, it works, you can see it. Luckily I don't have to look at it when I'm riding, so it's no big deal, hence number 5 on my list, but it is just ugly. I'm sure you could probably do something aftermarket with it, but I haven't done. But anyway, number 5 on the list, the really ugly backlight. So, number 4 on my top 5 things I hate about the CRF250L is the height of the bike. Now, you can't really blame this on the CRF250L specifically, because let's face it, it is a dirt bike, albeit, you know, a very soft one. So all off-road bikes are tall by nature for clearance from terrain, but nonetheless, I'm only 5'8", so a sort of medium-sized chap, and I find it quite difficult to get on the bike to start with. Once you sit on it, the suspension compresses, so it's not a big deal. And the other thing about it is that the bike is pretty light compared to what I'm used to riding. So actually, even though I'm on tippy toe, it doesn't feel like I'm going to drop the bike at any time. So it's absolutely fine when I'm on the road, no problem. And as I say, the suspension does compress quite nicely, making it much lower. Also, it's fixable if it worries you that much. There's the suspension link underneath the dog bone. You can drill that out and drop the bike by a couple of inches. But so again, number 4 on the list, it hasn't made it to the top because it's easily fixable and it's not a big deal. But just the height of off-road bikes generally annoy me as a shorter fella. So that's number 4 on my list. Okay, so to number 3 on my list of things I hate about the CRF250L. Number 3 on the list has to be the stock power of the bike. When you get the bike, obviously it's a 250. It's got low power. I can't remember what the HP figure is. It's something like, I don't know, something as low as 18 or something. I'll look it up and stick something up on the screen. But it's a very low power machine. And although you don't need loads of power, you know, it just feels really, really slow. So you have to do a load of mods on it to get it feeling all right, which is what I've done. And I've got videos up on my channel of the various mods. And once you've done those, put a new exhaust on, the EGK fuel controller, etc., then she's absolutely fine. There's no lack of power. It's absolutely ideal. But as you buy the bike stock, if you were to go and buy one of these thinking, oh, people keep saying these CRF250s are good, if you then went and test rode one, you'd probably think, my goodness me, this really is a slow machine. So don't be put off by that, but nonetheless it is number 3 on my list. The stock power is pretty rubbish. Probably only get one chance at this, nothing behind me. Beautiful day for a ride in the English countryside. Look at this, 30 miles from central London, and you got these rolling hills, sheep. What more do you want? And although this is a hate video, I have to say the little CRF is just fantastic on these sort of roads. It's perfect. Go anywhere, ride anything. Right, 30 miles an hour. Back to my list. So, to number 2 then on my list of CRF250L hates. Number 2 is the fuel tank capacity. Got a tiny fuel tank on it, and if you're just going off-road, you're not going to be going long distances, so it's not a big deal. Again, can't remember off the top of my head what the fuel tank capacity is, but I get about, with the modifications I've done which make it drink fuel as well, I tend to get about 90 miles out of the tank before I feel I have to look for somewhere to get it filled up. So fuel capacity is a problem. If you're going to try and do big miles, you either want to get the extended service tank, which gives you a lot more range, or carry fuel on the back in a separate bottle, which is what I do, and actually that's not a big deal. But it's one of the things that worries about whenever I go out on this bike. I'm thinking, when's the next fuel stop? When's the next fuel stop? And in fact, if I look at it now, I'm on the last little peg of fuel. That'll start flashing in a minute, and then I'm going to start worrying about whether I'm going to make it to a fuel station. So that's number 2 on the list. Okay, so to number 1 on my top 5 things I hate about the Honda CRF250L. Number 1, without a doubt, has to be the stock tyres. If you're going to go off-road, and let's face it, why would you buy one of these bikes if you're not intending to go off-road? Those tyres are absolutely rubbish. On road, no problems at all. They feel just like a normal road tyre. But therein lies the rub. When you go off-road, if you're on any mud or loose stuff, the front just washes straight out. They're tyres that there's some make that I've never heard of. They're not a well-known brand. You've got to change those out. I haven't actually done that yet because I ride probably 60% on road, 40 off. So I'm waiting until I get them a little bit worn at least before I replace them. But I'm intending to do some much more green lane action soon, and that's going to start to really annoy me. So next time I get the bike somewhere where I can get the tyres changed, I'm going to put some decent off-road knobblies on and hopefully fix that. So number 1 on my list are the stock tyres. They have to be swapped out if you want to do anything serious off-road. So there we have it, folks. That's my top 5 things I hate about the CRF250L. And just as a little postscript to the video, I must say the reason why this is a top 5 things I hate and not a top 10 is because I really struggled to come up with that top 5. Overall, this little bike, I can't speak highly enough of it. It's absolutely fantastic. It's cheap to buy, it's cheap to run, and it's such a lot of fun for the money. Out of all the bikes I've ever ridden or owned, this is the one that definitely delivers the biggest bang for the buck. It really is a great bike, and when I say hates, that's a very strong word, and it's you know, let's face it, it's just a crude marketing device to get views on YouTube, perhaps. And they're not really hates, they're more niggles. I really do love the bike overall. So don't get me wrong, if you're in the market for one of these things, I absolutely recommend them. They're fantastic little bikes, and thoroughly recommend them to you. Okay, I hope that's been of some interest to you, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.